With MIA Microflight. Finally, I got a satisfying flight. Just a little while ago, the battery's dead. Um, Let me unplug the battery here. And I'm going to be discussing in this full-length video what I did to this helicopter. I don't know if this will hold or if it'll go out of whack again with with some additional flights and maybe some. I'm not going to fine-tune anything here anymore because the crashes that I had were in the process of fine tuning the radio, trying to adjust, trying to get it as level as possible via the trims, and also using the programming mode. Anytime you go into the programming mode while the helicopter's flying, this is you're changing things in real time there, and if something is not right. There's an excess of signal or voltage in some of these components that are associated with these trims and potentiometers that are used for the stick controls. Uh, that's something's going to change. Something's going to happen. So I'm not messing with the trims. I did do some modifications to this helicopter. It's flying great. I mean, I got a couple flights with these batteries. I was flying with these batteries because these are kind of used batteries. I've had them for years. They don't hold a lot of charge, so I've been using these on purpose so that the helicopter, in case it starts to get away, it doesn't get away too far. Um, and so I've been using that. This battery here is just for weight here. I just added this with that rubber band here, so it's kind of a very crude setup here without the canopy, but it is protecting the helicopter in case it lands hard. I have my tough landing gear here that I used in some of my own designs, radio control helicopters, micron palm size. I decided to make these adapters here 3D printed so that it holds this landing gear in place. I also have this tail guard here. I've used tail guards similar to tail guards before on other helicopters, including some of the 500 size helicopters that I show in some other videos, because it just helps protect that tail. See that? I don't know why they don't do that on the helicopters. Provide better landing gear. This will never break. So if the helicopter comes down hard, I don't have to worry. At least as far as the landing gear is concerned, it protects also the frame. Um, some of the things that I've done are, as I mentioned, some other videos. 3D printed blades. These are my own 3D printed blades. They're working beautifully, even though the paint job here is really crappy. I wasn't concerned to I wasn't trying to make these really pretty. I just wanted some color on the tips, and it just so happens that some of the overspray got it on the inside of the blade. But it looks great when this is in motion. You can probably get an idea here. So it's the blades are working great. I have installed these O-rings. These, these particular O-rings inside the blade grip. I talk about that also in one of my other videos. I made these blades with that inside diameter larger so that I can insert the O-ring in there and provide some level of damping, and it's working beautifully. I've used this. This is not the first time I'm using this. I've used this in some of my early helicopter designs to provide exactly what I just mentioned: damping on the rotor head. Damping on the blade grip rather, not on the rotor head, because the rotor head is rather rigid, but it's working great. This is another modification that I just mentioned in a short video. This is a GWS propeller. I got tired of making even my own 3D printed propellers. I was breaking them, in a crash. I haven't crashed with this, so it's still intact. Who knows if I crash? This will probably last a little bit longer, better, because It's got a little more meat to the plastic. It's ABS plastic, obviously, because a lot of these things are ABS injection molded. But this is the GWS 40. What is this? 4025, I think. GWS 4025 EP 4025 propeller, which, by the way, is a clockwise propeller. So if we were to look at the front of the propeller, this propeller swings that way. So I had to reverse a couple of the leads for this brushless motor on the controller. I had to desolder them and resolder them again, switching the leads so that this motor swings towards the back, and it's working beautifully. I never liked, as I said in one of my other videos, the propeller swing towards the center. I rather prefer the propeller swing towards the back, and it's working great. This propeller, here, I may as well mention that this in my long video here. This propeller is inserted just with a piece of PVC 1/8 diameter PVC tubing, kind of a press fit, and it just so happens that it presses really well over the shaft of this motor here. I'm not using the screw, so it's one step less to do. If I need to replace this, I have a bunch of these propellers, so I can cut them down to 70 millimeters, and it's working absolutely great. I mean, you're gonna have to do this modification so that you know what I am talking about. The blades, unless you have a 3D printer where you can print your own blades and do what I did, create that opening a little bit larger and just shove an O-ring. The O-ring size is 4. It's a Buna 004 O-ring. I got this from McMaster-Carr. I used to get a lot of these back in my micro helicopter days, back around 2000. And I used to do very, very similar stuff, with as upgrades for the micro helicopters that I was selling back in those years. So yeah, if you can do this, do this with the little damping there on the blades, because it really helps. You will notice in the way that the helicopter handles and also flies. I've been very, very careful not to throttle up too much, because as soon as you throttle up, the helicopter wants to zzz, it wants to lift pretty high, and you got to sort of bring down the throttle again. So I think what the way this works is the flight controller, which is linked via the radio to this control system here, when the helicopter starts, obviously the computer is taking over that initial step of rotating the rotors to a certain speed. But once you get beyond that certain point, this thing will lift, and then I've been just bringing this down, just kind of gently, to try to hold hover no more than 5 feet in the air. In fact, I've been flying 3-4 feet off the ground, just to make sure that it doesn't get away from me, because it was getting away several times. It happened to me. I explained that also in my other videos. So I've been flying with the throttle kind of with my mind on the throttle to keep it low. And as soon as it starts getting too low, I raise it gently to bring it up. So it's been, I just did a couple of flights, and it's been holding on great. But I think it's also due to the fact that this blade is providing really smooth, a really smooth anti-torque for the tail. Much better setup than the original blade. Even though it's not in scale with with that little blade that they give you. Plus, it's a lot quieter, a lot smoother. The way I have installed this with that rubber, once again, a little bit of damping on the blade with that rubber insert. So these are my upgrades, and this is what what I've been doing to my when I do my own helicopters. I do these tiny little details on these mechanical parts, and that really helps. Whether this will hold, once again, I don't know if this if the helicopter will exhibit, you know, though that that ascending nuance that you know, it starts you know, when you throttle a little bit too high, it starts ascending, and then at some point in several of my flights, I was not able to bring this down. On one of them, it took so long for this to. I was able to hold it in the air, but it just kept going up, and I kind of held this down, and I even put a little pressure there to see if it'll help, and eventually it came down, but it was very slow. Uh, Most of the time, this I just did not have this control, and I think it's because I was playing with the programming feature here, and I was trying to adjust both the pitch of the blades as well as center. I was trying to get it as best as possible in a steady hover. I mean, I've seen all those videos that people are hovering these things, and the thing looks like a hummingbird. You know, it's just sitting there. You know, not moving. And you know, I think the people are either they're either using these with some really good flight controllers, or they're you know, they're doing something different than the regular than just using, you know, the regular components. I think there's some kind of a trickery there in those videos that show these things as super stable. Because I cannot get mine that stable. I did get it to hover, you know, somewhat stable, and then it started to drift. And I do know about that, whether you can that feature that you can turn off the what is this called, the optical flow sensor. You can turn that off via the programming mode. Just hit that button right there, and it starts blinking, and that apparently turns off the flow sensor. I did not notice any difference when I did that, major difference. I still had to, you know, work the controls here on with the flow sensor or without it, by clicking this into programming mode, and you know, when the light starts flashing. So so those are the things that I have done to this helicopter. And like I said, so far it's I got some pretty decent flights. So a very satisfying flight. I can't you know, I'm a little bit happy because I've been having issues with this, you know, since I got it, since the second flight. That servo on the right hand side, on this side right here, this servo was bad, had a bad motor, and so I took it apart, removed that motor, put a good motor there, and it's been working great ever since I did that. So no issues with the servos, but I was having issues, as I say in my other videos, with this with flyaways getting away, and this was getting really difficult for me because I fly. Grab it this way. I fly thumb over index finger, you know, for more precision. This is how I fly. And so for me to access this button right here, emergency button, it's a little cumbersome when I have to stop that and press that, because it's a little tricky to press it with your finger there. You know, you don't have leverage there. So, you know, to go from here to this, you know, you have to stop that. So what I did is I installed this redundant push button here. It's in parallel with this switch right here. I show that in some other videos. Check out those short videos. I explain how I did this. I even show the interior of this radio. I also brought the antenna up through this post here. You can see the antenna sticking out here, because mine was underneath the PC board. So maybe that had some issue also with the control. At some instances, it wasn't the signal was not getting through. So I just brought my antenna up like that, and like I said, I just got two satisfying flights, and it looks like it's holding just fine. I am not going to mess with the trims. I'm not going to mess with this programming feature that some videos, they tell you to go in here and adjust it, make adjustments. I would just leave it factory settings. Don't mess with these things. Don't go into the programming mode, especially if if while adjusting these other things, because that can really get you in a situation where you're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to. The helicopter started getting away from me in a few instances, and the only way was to stop cyclic control, hit this button, and recovered it in pieces. So so yeah, this is working great for me because I hold the radio like this, and if I get in trouble, see the logic there. It's more ergonomic to have that, and I can still do this. I can still do that. And of course, once you do this, that helicopter is going to drop like a dead bird. be prepared to grab it. Have some kind of a mat or something to catch it. Some kind of a catcher. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing to this helicopter. I am going to sleep well tonight because this was bothering me. I could not. I don't lose sleep over this, but it does. It does every day that I wake up. It's like, damn it. I can't. What the hell? What can I do to this to make it better? Within the control. I know these things have limitations, and these controllers, these flight controllers, are not as is a full flight controller that is used on quadcopters or even better helicopters. So I am also considering that option there. And according to Rotor Flight, you can remap beta flight controllers, F4, F7, I believe. And so I have a few of these Mobula. What is it? Crazy BX. Crazy BX is what this one is. This one only goes up to 5 amp on the ESCs, but I think I can remap this flight controller so that I can use an external ESC for the main rotor, and then use one of those ESCs, because they only go up to 5 amps for the tail end. The tail end is not pulling 5 amps, but I'm afraid that this is probably going to pull. If you get in trouble, it's going to pull more than 5 amps. So I think I'm going to, I'm investigating those this option here, because this flight controller is 20 by 20, and it would that would sit. Let's see, how would that sit? I think this sits on yeah, this sits like that, I believe, with the front being towards the front of the helicopter like that, and this would work out perfectly, because it's got the ESC. The ESC for the tail would be one of the motor ESCs, and I just need to reprogram it or remap some of these signals for the 3 servos, so that I can control the 3 servos, and have some other nice features, with this. I mean, I can also use a FPV with this flight controller. So I'm investigating this option here. I haven't seen anybody do a conversion with this particular flight controller. I've seen Rotor Flight has some nice examples. If you go to their website, that show you how to do this with some more commercially available dedicated flight controllers for RC helicopters. But they also give you the option of a do-it-yourself board, which is really nice. I mean, wow. Kudos to to Rotor Flight, whoever worked on that software to allow you to do all these cool things that we can, with these flight controllers. You can repurpose some of these flight controllers, which is absolutely great. So I'm considering doing that. Uh, you got to do a little more. I gotta go back to my notes because I don't quite remember the connections here. I mean, I was doing a lot of this back when the Mobula 7 came out, and the what was that called? That other those little quadcopters that they came out back in the day. I was really heavy into that, and then I stopped, and then I moved on to other things, um, and then. I've come back, full circle again to helicopters, and now I'm I'm revisiting the possibilities of these controllers being used, to control these, mainly to upgrade this helicopter here, because my own helicopters, they don't they're not flybarless. I employ flybar, just a typical flybar on some of my helicopters, just fixed pitch helicopters, and for me that's fine. I fly in my backyard, and I'm a happy camper that way, and they're not going to get away. I don't have to worry about the flight controller doing some funky things. I have the reassurance that mechanical flybar is going to keep the helicopter steady. And so, like I showed in some of my other videos, with my all the little helicopters that I've been designing and building and bringing back, into working order. So, yeah, check out those videos. But this is I thought I'd do a video with respect to this particular one, and just put all these things that I've done to this helicopter here to finally get two solid satisfying flights. And like I said, I'm not going to mess with these trims, and just leave it like that. The helicopter is not really stable. I do have to work the control. I do have to kind of keep it on on that side, to level it. I mean, I guess I could, without going into the program mode, I guess I could trim that, and then next flight I'm going to have to retrim it, because you lose the trim settings every time you turn off the radio and you turn it back on. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that and just trim it in real time every time I fly. It's kind of a pain in the butt, to do that. You should be able to save those in the program, but every time I've tried that, I get in trouble with the helicopter wanting to start lifting and get away. So yeah, if you have had similar experiences, or want to put some comments with respect to all the stuff that I've been showing, or your own like I said, experience, put it in the comments below. I would like to know that I'm not the only one that has experienced these things, and let me know what you think of my the stuff that I've been doing here. I know my helicopter's kind of not that attractive without the spiffy MD500 body. That is a cool, really cool body, but I decided not to keep it on until I get this all worked out, and at least get several flights, solid flights before I trust putting back the body here. I already messed up the original landing gear. I broke that. I actually glued it back, but I don't think that'll hold, even though I put a piece of carbon rod in I made a slide in between the brake point, and I CA glued it with a little bit of what's that powder? God, I forget. Anyway, so I fixed that, but this is better in terms of just getting it to that point where I can fully regain my trust in this setup right here. Mario, once again, stay tuned for more.